TikToky, lol. I thought this was YouTube. Yeah, for the reason why my name is that is because I started on the TikTok app, and I just kept the same name so I can just keep like continuity. So I just kept the same name. But yeah, thanks for the message there. I pinned it. So if you guys are just tuning in, I'm doing another live stream. The Camel Herder, sup, bud? How you doing? Just doing my evening stroll. I got you, no problem, brother. Much love. Yeah, no, I know. I was just explaining because I do get that a lot. People always ask me, "What's with the name or whatever," And I've gotten lots of people are like, "Oh, change it or do this or that," but I don't care. I'm just gonna keep rolling with it, guys. Once I've committed to it, I'm in. I'm 100% in. But yeah, if you guys are new to the stream, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, thumb it up. Today, I'm just doing my evening stroll. I'm on the walking pad once again. And this picture in the background, this is actually another shot from Cusco. Yeah, some hard critics like to laugh and conversate paragraphs. Big words sometimes. Haha. Yeah, of course. Me, I personally, I like to keep it simple, keep it fun, but I also like to go deep. You know what I mean? I get pretty deep in there with the conspiracy talks, the questions, the big questions, the philosophical stuff. You ever take what does that say? I-theanine, and if so, do you feel it helped? I don't think I ever took that. What is that? I haven't even heard of that. Is that something I should be knowing about? I take creatine. Creatine is like a energy booster, supposedly. It gives you extra energy when, especially when doing physical activity like lifting muscles. I mean, lifting weights to build muscle. Supposedly, I think it helps you retain water in your muscles. Supplement for relaxation or anxiety. I've never heard of that. I don't think I don't think any supplement like that would be beneficial or recommended to me. Maybe it would. I don't know, but I think deep down, when I get anxiety, I think deep down I know why I'm getting it, like what's the root cause of it, and that means that I could solve the solution on my own. Like it all, I put the blame on myself. Like no matter what, you know what I mean? Like nothing usually ever causes me anxiety. That's like not somehow beyond my control, you know? So what I mean by that, guys, is like if I ever get anxiety about something that's out of my control, I'm rational enough to realize that, you know? So like, you know how sometimes people will have like existential dread or something where they're like, "Oh no, what if World War III happens? I'm so scared of that." And they start thinking about it and it gives them anxiety, right? I know that can happen to some people, right? But at the end of the day, like, where's that coming from? It's coming from your own self. You're thinking about it. You know what I mean? And then for relaxation, I don't have trouble relaxing. I could relax all day, guys. The only thing that prevents me from relaxing is if I have too much energy. And the only reason I have too much energy is if I don't burn enough energy. So, for example, sometimes when I take time off work and I'm being lazy, you know, which everybody's lazy from time to time, you know, like let's say I'm just lying around in the couch and watching movies and, you know, not doing much physical activities. If that ever happens to me, after like a day or two of that, then I can't relax anymore. You know, the relaxation doesn't happen. Like I can't relax, like, you know, and then I just go work out. Like if that happens, I go to the gym. I start going to the gym. I start running. I start burning excess calories because I think the body and the mind are connected in that way. Where if you feel like you can't relax, it's probably because you're just not tired enough. And I guess maybe that happens to people who don't have physical jobs. Like, you know, if you had a job where you're just kind of sedentary all day, like you're sitting in a desk or something like that, I could see how maybe you would have trouble relaxing. But if you're outside, you know, dealing with the heat if it's hot, or the cold if it's cold, or the rain if it's raining, or, you know, the wind if it's windy, you know, and you're doing physical labor, when you come home and you wash the day off with a nice warm shower, it's actually pretty easy to relax. You know what I mean? But like I said, I've never really had a job where, you know, I'm inside all day. So maybe it's different for other people. Like maybe some people can't relax because they're cooped up all day in a desk, and then they're still tired because they still have to wake up every morning and commute to work. The statue behind me is a statue of I think he was an Incan warrior chief or whatever. And this is in the town square of Cusco, which is an ancient Peruvian city. Third leg done by me. Thank you, multi-verse salt trendy shorts. Wait, what is it? Multiversal trendy shorts. I thought it was multiverse salt trendy. No, salt trendy. Yeah, town square of Cusco. I'll Google it. Thanks for sharing the knowledge. Oh yeah. This town, it's a really cool town. It's in Peru. Peru. It's an ancient city in Peru called Cusco. And I think originally it was like an Incan settlement, and then the Spanish came and they got involved in it. But they have a lot of cool statues like this one. This was in the town square. Yeah, it's multiversal trendy shorts. But I thought it was multiverse salty trends. No, I know it's just bad spacing. It's just like there's multiple examples of that. Like for example, penisland.com. Penisland.com. That's just one example I thought of off the top of my head that I remember seeing before, with some bad spacing in the letters. I'll let you guys figure it out on your own. But anyways, yeah, this statue, it's like a fountain. It's a they call, for some reason, this Peruvian towns always have a main like town square, called Plaza de Armas. And I don't really know what that means in Spanish because I'm learning Spanish, but I still I don't know like all the words. Like I don't know what that directly translates to, but I think it means like town square. Well, I don't know what Armas means. Like what is Armas? But I know Plaza is like plaza. You know, like it's like the place. You got a Costco where you live? Yeah, we get a Costco. We do Costco grocery hauls like every couple of weeks or so. That's where I get all my ground beef and chicken breast and turkey sticks. Like I get these little packages of turkey, and they're like basically like little sticks, like kind of like beef jerky. Not like beef jerky. What are they more like? Pepperoni sticks. They're turkey pepperoni sticks, and they come in big packs. Good deal, considering how much meat you get for. That's in like a easily consumable bite-sized little snack that gives you a nice little kick of protein. Like if you compare that to how much you would cost to get you a protein stick like that at a Walmart or something, it's a way better deal. That's one thing. The chicken breasts there are all really good, big packages of chicken breast, huge tube of ground beef, and that's where I get my creatine. And that's even where I get my chia seeds. Chia seeds, creatine. I used to get protein shakes from there called Kirkland Signature Protein Shakes. I get yogurt from there, Oikos Pro, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know why I'm telling you guys my entire grocery haul of Costco. That's just what comes to my brain off the top of my head. Yeah, let me see if I have any other pictorials. Here's another one, I think, of another similar style of statue, but this one was in a different town. I think this one was in a town called Aguas Calientes. But yeah, we're actually kind of lucky because the Costco in our town is really, really busy. Like it's super duper busy. But I say we're kind of lucky because at least we have one. Like at least it's not too far that we have to travel in. And I think that's why it's so busy is because people travel from far and wide to come to this Costco. Because the island that I live on is very spread out, you know, like all the towns and stuff. They're all spread out along the coast, right? So some people have to travel far distances to get to the main plazas, you know, like the main shopping centers. But thankfully, near to my house, there's actually a couple of really convenient locations. Yeah, earlier today, guys, I watched the Calgary Flames. I got my hat. They performed decently, admirably against the Columbus Blue Jackets, but they ended up losing 4-3 in the last minute of play, or maybe what, last 2 minutes of play. They gave up a goal that put Columbus over the top, and dropped another 2 points down the drain. So I think at this point, now that we're halfway through the month of January, approximately, you know, not quite, but, you know, we're getting close to being about halfway through the month of January. They've lost 4 out of the last 5 games. No, sorry. 5 out of the last 6 games since the start of the new year. And in those losses, they've given up like 4 to 5 goals every single time. It's just not good right now if you're a fan of the Flames. But at least there's hope on the horizon. You know, maybe the one day they'll get a high-ranking draft pick and end up coming back, and you know, at least getting to a point where they're not just stuck in the middle of the standings all the time. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna lie, guys, I missed most of the game because I fell asleep. I was taking a nap earlier. I haven't had a nap in forever. Like usually I stay awake all day and then go to sleep and sleep at night. But today, I was so dang tired, I literally took a nap. Which, going back to our previous conversation, I know somebody asked me about the, who asked me? Jake asked me about the supplement called, what is it called? I-Theanine? Theanine? I don't know how to pronounce it, but somebody asked me about it. I was too relaxed earlier today. Walk faster. If the playoffs were to start today, would they be in? No, they're out. They're like third from the bottom of the league. Less yapping, more walking. Okay, fine. I'm going up. This is max speed. Wow, as soon as I started running, everybody came on. Were the Oilers the best team? Well, they're the best losers. I mean, they lost the Stanley Cup 2 years in a row, so I guess they're the biggest losers. Yeah, it's crazy, guys. As soon as I started running, everybody jumped on. I see 13 people on. Keep liking up the live, guys. Give it a thumbs up so that more people come on. I'll run faster, I promise. They like the speed, yeah. The only issue with the speed, though, is it's hard for me to read the chat. Because I'm bouncing and, like, my eyes are going up and down, up and down, up and down like that. You know what I mean? What's the point of this? It's whatever you want it to be. You can decide what's the point of this. Fushin, or whatever your name is. I can't read your name. The name bars are smaller to read. Red Wings taking it. It's definitely possible. Red Wings are doing very well this year. Like, the Red Wings look like a legit threat in the East. Tampa Bay looks legit as well, which is kind of crazy because I thought they'd already peaked and they were over, but they're back. But it's really wide open, to be honest. Like, especially in the East. Like, the East, nobody really looks like a true, like a true juggernaut team. Because even the ones that are down near the bottom, like in the wild card, they had to perform so well over the last few weeks to get themselves back into that position. You're Fierce and Garcia. I can't understand what you're saying. You're gonna have to spell that out a little bit more clearly. That's what it says. VKSSG. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna put a new background for you guys. No, this one sucks. It's too, it's like a landscape photo. You can't see what's going on. I like this one. Yeah, like legitimately, I can see Montreal, Tampa Bay. Like I said, Carolina's always good, but like they never seem to get past like the second or third round ever. You know, I don't remember the last time they were ever in the Stanley Cup final. That's for sure. Like they could win their first round matchup and then they lose in the second round. Usually, I think that's what happens. And then, of course, like I said, even the wild card teams, the ones that are in that position, they have to be on such a run lately, just even to get up into that spot, that it seems really good. Okay, I'm going back down slower for a second, guys. But yeah, so basically, it almost seems like it's anybody's game in the Eastern Conference, right? There's Detroit, there's Montreal, there's Tampa Bay, Carolina. The Islanders look like they could upset someone. You know what I mean? Like whoever Islanders face in the first round, they look like they could upset them. They look renewed with that young kid Schaefer on their back end, right? And they always had reliable goaltending with Sorokin, right? Meanwhile, Toronto is back. You know, I think it was just about a month ago, everybody was saying how the Maple Leafs suck. And the Maple Leafs are going to miss the playoffs. And the Maple Leafs are terrible. And blah, 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 right? But look at them. They're back in the wild card spot. They've been on quite a tear lately. The Penguins have been in and out. The Sabres went on a crazy run, 10 games in a row or something like that. Don't forget Florida. Back-to-back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. Back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. Can't count them out. They might sneak into the playoffs. They might make some noise. Who knows who's going to get who by the end of the trade deadline, right? Like, it's looking like a really interesting season, especially, like I said, out there in the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference looks so crazy up in the air right now. Western Conference, it looks kind of settled. Like, Colorado is the most formidable opponent, dominant. Dallas is not far behind. And whoever faces those teams, you know, it's actually kind of, here's the really sad part. Minnesota's in that mix too, especially after they got Quinn Hughes. Either Dallas or Minnesota is going to have to lose in round one. One of those two teams is going down, which that kind of really sucks for the formatting, because I think it's pretty plain and obvious to see that the Central Division is heads and shoulders above all the rest of the divisions right now. You know what I mean? Like Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota are the top three teams probably in the NHL overall. Even comparing them to Tampa and Carolina or whoever else, right? Detroit, the other teams we already talked about over there, right? So one of those two teams is going out first round, Dallas or Minnesota, right? No matter what, no matter how you slice it. Then Colorado is going to probably steamroll whoever's wild card 8. Like that's or you know the bottom, like the 8th seed, wild card number 2. Probably going to steamroll them in round 1. Vegas, I think Vegas might surprise people because if they win the division, they kind of have the easiest path. Like I said, they don't have to face Minnesota or a Dallas in round 1. So they almost have an easier path if you could win the Pacific. Edmonton might even win the Pacific, which would be great for them because then they would have to face a less qualified opponent. And then who else is there? There's LA. Nobody takes LA seriously. San Jose, if they get in, are too young, inexperienced. Utah, same story. Chicago, same story. Seattle, nobody takes them seriously. Nashville looks too old and washed up and somehow still inexperienced because they haven't made the playoffs in a few years. Same with St. Louis, same story, you know what I mean? Like they look like the team that's selling, not buying, you know what I mean? So realistically, it looks like a 3-horse race in the West and anybody's game in the East right now. That's how I see it. Oh, sorry, I wasn't seeing your messages. My chat got frozen somehow. Your wife was saying you're a landlord and you deal with tenants. How do you like that? Bro, you don't need cardio, more weight. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't seeing the messages, Jake, because my chat froze. The tenants, I don't mind dealing with it at all. It's annoying to do when something happens, like when you have to go and deal with tenants, like answer their phone calls, go and see them, go to the place, you know, this and that. It's annoying, but I mean, it happens so infrequently that I don't think it's a big deal at all. Like it's literally like, to me, I don't think it's a burden or anything like that because any job would be annoying. You know what I mean? If you had a job and you have to go in and spend your time someplace doing some work or whatever that you don't truly want to do, like that's kind of like a nuisance or whatever, or annoying, however you want to say it. But if you only have to do something once in a while, like once every couple of months or whatever, even if that thing is a lot of, you know, it's very time consuming or whatever, you just do it, you know, just get her done. Yeah, I hope this chat doesn't freeze again. I don't know what happened to it. If you guys are messaging, I'm trying to refresh it, but it should be here. Yeah, I want to hit the weights more too, by the way, but I don't have any weights in here. Like I don't have a bench press or a squat rack or a fly machine or anything, like, you know, I don't have any pull down, like I don't have a Bowflex or whatever, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing in here but this little walking pad. You a handyman or you get somebody to fix it? I do my own fixes unless it's something technical, like something that requires a professional electrician or something that requires a like a plumber or something, you know, like something that a handyman couldn't do. So yes, to answer your question, I'm the handyman pretty much, unless it's also something that I can't get to because it's urgent and I'm too far away, like I have to go deal with it, you know, like then I'll hire a handyman to come and fix things when I'm not there. But if I'm there, I usually do all the little maintenance and fixes myself. Unless, like I said, unless it's requiring a professional, or if I'm not available, I hire somebody else to do it. Sorry, I accidentally hit pause on my machine. I was trying to make the speed go faster and I hit pause. Best marriage advice you can give to a guy that's about to get married. That's a tough one. Let me think. The best marriage advice is don't stop trying to like move your relationship forward, if that makes any sense. Like, I think some people go and they get married and then they think that's the end. Like their whole life they were doing things to improve their chances of getting a date, you know, attracting a mate, getting a partner, right? And then they finally get one, right? They finally find a wife or a girl that says yes to being my wife. And then they go, oh, okay, sweet, okay, I'm done. I can stop working on myself. I think some people do that by accident. And or they stop working even on their relationship, you know? Like they're like, oh, you know, me and my girl, we've been together for this and that, you know, a certain amount of time. You know, you do things for each other, you show your loyalty, you show your love, you show your commitment, you show your you show all the stuff of that, you know, makes a good couple, a good relationship, right? And then again, like I said, then they get married and then suddenly they stop doing that stuff. You know, that's my advice is don't stop doing that stuff. Don't think because you're married now that you can stop the process. Like it's almost like you have to keep trying to improve yourself and your wife too. Like, you know, don't let her give up on herself either, you know, or give up on you. You got to keep doing things, reinforcing it, you know, talk about it. Like, you know, there's always little things that you can do. I think you can't fight in the street. I can fight in the street. If I needed to, if push came to shove, I have a little bit of beast to me, guys. I wish I had a punching bag in here, if anything. Actually, here, this is a good idea for a stream. I'm gonna put this right here. And I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna get, I'll get my punching gloves. Yeah, you don't actually have to be big to know how to fight. I took some Muay Thai classes for like 6 months one time. No, Robert, I'm not gonna play Roblox. And actually, I was literally just thinking about it today for some reason. I can't remember why. I was just thinking about it earlier. But we would do different warm ups every day. The way that the class would start, this is how it would go, guys. You meet at the gym, the Muay Thai gym, at about, I think it was 8 in the morning. And then look at Domi. He was tiny, but he won most of his fights. Yeah, exactly. Look at Ty Domi. Don't forget Theo Fleury too. He was also tiny, like very tiny. He would throw down sometimes too. But anyways, we'd meet at 8 a.m. at the gym. And sorry, I was just making sure the door was shut, so if I'm too loud. But meet at 8 a.m. Go for about a 3. I think it was about a 3-kilometer run, maybe 2.5, something like that. Around outdoors, like around town somewhere. Then we get back to the gym. Immediately, we do skipping for about 10 to 15 minutes. And we have these big weighted skipping ropes, and you just skip. And you skip for about 10, 15 minutes. Then, after skipping, the first thing we would do is shadow box. So you don't even put on your gloves yet or anything. You just, you kind of shadow box like this. And it's kicking too, because Muay Thai involves kicking as well. So you just go like this. And then anyways, you shadow box a bit for about 10, 15 minutes. Then you put on these wraps where you like wrap your wrist and it goes over your hands, goes over your knuckles. And what would come after that? I think you just put on your gloves right after that. And then usually every day we would do some sparring. So you actually literally like just spar with another guy. And the sparring for the way that they teach you to spar in Muay Thai is you don't go all out. Like you're not trying to knock out your opponent. You're just trying to like time it so that you're basically like trying to tap them. Like just trying to tap them so that you show that if you were going all out, you would have caught them. You would have punched them in the face or whatever, right? So that you spar with a guy. You might switch partners, right? And spar with another guy. Switch partners a couple times. But yeah, you know what? Actually, before the sparring, usually we would do. Oh yeah, I forgot. There was a whole stretching thing too. First, it was do a big circle. Everybody stands in a circle, and this is even before the gloves on. This was still back when we had nothing on. We do a stretching thing first. It was just very basic stretching. It would be like go like this, do your neck, do your rotations. You go down to the ground. You do like your legs or whatever. Like you do the those little leg movements or whatever. Then, usually every day we'd learn a technique, and it would just be like you're gonna train one skill, and the one skill could be like how to throw an elbow properly, or how to block a kick properly, or how to catch a guy's leg as he tries to say he tries to kick you like this. You catch their leg, and then you like punch them. You like knock them down or push them over or whatever. So you learn a technique, then do some practice where you basically like one partner practice the technique, like it could be the elbow or whatever, and the other guy just kind of like holds up his hand so that you can have a target to hit. Then there would be some sparring. Then there would be pad work, and the trainers at this gym were so good, guys, at doing pad work. Like this is probably what set them apart, in my opinion, compared to any other type of martial art training, because their ability to, they put on these pads, like they're not punching gloves, but they're like pads. They're like punching pads. They put on like a pad on both their arms. They'll put one on their tummy, like on their stomach. They'll put one. They'll put some on their legs or whatever, and they stand there and they tell you to like do different rotations. Like they'll say 1, 2, and you gotta like 1, 2, like hit both their pads. Like they'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you go. They'll say 1, 2, elbow, and you elbow, and they know how to like hold the pads and then put their elbow up and like get you to like literally like know how to like throw combinations and stuff. They'll tell you to kick. They'll tell you to kick them straight forward, which is called T, and like correct your form. Like you're supposed to when you throw a kick. Like let's say I'm gonna kick, I would put this arm down, like you swing this arm out to create more power. But you don't drop both your arms because then you're exposed. You know what I mean? But anyways, I did that for a long time, so that's why I could remember all this, because we trained like that every single day for months at a time. And I don't ever do Muay Thai anymore, but if somebody challenged me to a street fight, if it was just a random person, I would do whatever it took not to have to fight them. First of all, I would try my best to use any other means of communication to de-escalate from actually fighting a guy, right? But if I needed to, I would know how to punch a guy. Like, and also I know that there's no rules in a street fight, like anything goes. So, I would also be able to, do some techniques that aren't legal in Muay Thai even, you know what I mean? But I miss it, guys. I wish I had a punching bag. I wish I had a punching bag in here. That would be so much fun. I might get one. That's a cool thing too. You can do knees. Oh yeah, and they would have bags. So then we do bag work after that too. You ever have social anxiety? If so, what helps you with it? I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but I'm curious. Social anxiety? I do get social anxiety. I know it might be hard to believe, guys, but because I'm on lives all the time and stuff like that. But I actually do get quite a decent amount of social anxiety, especially when it's new environments and new people. So like, and also in settings that are where the social hierarchy is very like unprofessional, if that makes any sense. Like what I'm saying is I don't count like say like school or work settings as like, even though those are social settings, I don't count those ones as that nerve-wracking or anxiety ridden, like to me, because I think in those situations there's like an established rule of engagement that everybody goes into when they go into like say like a work setting or a like a school setting, right? A professional setting of some kind, right? But say it's like at a social gathering, like at a party or a get together or gathering or whatever you want to call it, like an actual like just a social function, be it a wedding, a birthday party, whatever. Those situations, if I don't know the people and I don't know, I don't even know the setting or something like that, those ones actually give me a lot of social anxiety, because I guess I'm not that confident in being able to, be really, confident in just in how to handle myself in that situation. So to answer your question, yes, I get social anxiety when it comes to that type of thing, but how do I deal with it? I guess I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you. To be honest, I really don't. Like, I just fake it. I just pretend like it's, everything's cool, and I try to act cool, I guess, and um that's the best thing I can do. Makes sense, especially ladies fan following. What do you mean, especially ladies fan following? Are you talking about my lady, my wife's? Yeah, my. Oh, sorry. Maybe I missed your other comment. You should show off your hair to get more subs. Oh, my hair. I missed that part. Okay. What's up, ladies? This is my hair. To get more subs, guys, I'm showing my hair. Drinking? Short answer is no, and the long answer is also no. The answer is not drinking. But long answer, no, but I understand that some people use drinking as a method to uh loosen up and calm the nerves and get rid of that anxiety, that social anxiety. But the reason I say no is because long term that's not a really good solution, and it can actually make things worse depending on how things go. So for example, say you go to a social gathering, you feel anxiety about the social situation, right? But then you choose to drink because you want to loosen up and calm the nerves or whatever it is. You could then impair yourself and make things even worse somehow. Look, the views are going up, increases as hell. I'm worried you might not be able to read all the chats and control your fans now. Not being sarcastic, but genuinely concerned. Okay, I hope so, guys. Like I said earlier today, when somebody was on here and I was running on the treadmill. Remember, I ran, and then the view count spiked as soon as I started running. It was who said it? Lucian Lashit, less yapping, more walking. Remember that? When Lucian Fashit said it, I got more subs right away. More lady fans. And as I sit here stroking my luscious locks, more people seem to like that. I thought more people would like the boxing, but no, people were not into it. Personally, like I said, I am into it. I wish I had a boxing punching bag in here. That would be so sick. I might get one. I might. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. The reason I say maybe not, guys, is because I might not be living here for much longer, so it might be not that great of an investment. Technique. Yeah, I was just doing some technique drills, you know what I mean? But makes me miss it. I actually wish I can go do some boxing again. See, that's another example, right? Like, let's say I went to a class of some kind, like a Muay Thai class or a um does your wife get jealous when you talk to other girls? No, not unless it's like um not unless the situation would be suspect. So it would have to be a situation that doesn't really make sense. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense for me to talk to other girls. I don't have any other girls that I talk to except for, like, my mom, or um like business related things, like customers and transactional things, which in that case she doesn't get jealous at all, as long as I'm very professional and communicative towards why I'm speaking to another woman. She doesn't get jealous at all. But she is pretty jealous as a person. At least, I shouldn't say jealous, but she's just she's very loving and she's very protective, and I mean that in the sense of that she's protective of our marriage because she also holds herself to the same standard. So it's not about being controlling or um like authoritarian in terms of what I'm allowed to do or who I'm allowed to talk to or go with or do I mean possessive? No, not possessive because like I said, she's protective. Because the reason why I'm saying this, guys, is because she also um would hold herself to the same standard. She doesn't talk to other men. You know what I mean? Do I like men? I like them as friends, yes. Greg, I do like men as friends. Um, so yes, not possessive, not jealous, but like I said, protective. Protective of our marriage and our relationship. Do you dislike men that like men? That's a very that's a really good comeback, Greg. You're like you kind of backed him into a corner now. Like now, what's he gonna say? You know what I mean? What's he gonna say? How's he gonna respond? We don't know. Nobody knows really. But yeah, like I said, guys, it's not about being jealous or protective because I mean sorry or possessive because those words get a negative connotation towards them, right? So you don't want to frame it that way. That's sound because then it sounds bad, right? You don't want to frame something badly like that, you know. And like I said, I would hold myself to that same standard, and she would hold herself to the same standard. You should be, bro. Your wife is amazing, and you two look great together. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I should be protective, right? And I should be um, proactive and protective about taking care of the sanctity of the relationship. I'm high on Canadian marijuana. Good for you, G. I thought your name was Greg for a second, but I see now looking closely, it's G. Nothing like that, but I don't care about what they like about. But man, this man is married and straight. Yeah, you're just my biggest defender right now, Multi. Multi's just my biggest defender, coming to my aid. But don't worry, I don't need that aid. But yeah, guess what? I appreciate that comment. That's really nice of you to say. I really I like that you understand that. And like I said, guys, I understand the same thing. Like I would get really jealous too if Zara was talking to men. Um, but she doesn't. Like she doesn't do that unless it's something um like business or you know transactional or something like that, like related. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't just go and like talk to men like randomly, like she won't be online like DMing and chatting with other guys. um she won't be in person going up to strangers in the mall or something and speaking to them for any you know flirtatious reasons or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing if you're at the mall and the there's a guy at the mall that works there and wants to help you, like, you know with your purchase or something. Like that would be insane. If somebody was actually jealous when a person at the mall asked them to help them, that's bordering on possessive. But it's not like that, guys. Have you seen any wildlife in real life like a tiger or a lion? I have not seen a tiger or a lion because there's no tigers or lions where I live, but there's bears, and I have seen bears in real life. I've seen moose. A moose is a very elusive creature, despite the fact that they're massive. Like they're giant. These are like some of the biggest um, land animals on Earth, to be honest. And I've seen coyotes all the time. Like coyotes actually live right in the cities. Um, Wolves, I don't know if I've ever seen a wolf. I don't think I have, to be honest. I can't think of a time I have. I've seen big cats a couple times, like lynx. but never a cougar. Cougars are super elusive as well, and they are probably the apex predator of North America because, and even honestly, like pound for pound overall, they are the biggest predator of all time. And I don't mean biggest in terms of size, I mean like pound for pound, the amount of weight that they have that they take out an animal, uh, there's nothing even close to it. Bridger P says, I seen my sister. That's a good one. That's some wildlife right there. Um, but yeah, to elaborate on that, guys, cougar or a mountain lion, as some people call them. Some people call them a puma, which is they're all the same animal essentially. That just depends on what region you live in. Where I'm from in northern Alberta or what or Canada, we usually call them cougars. Yeah, I think in America they call them mountain lions. I think in southern United States and South America they're called pumas. Um, they are pound for pound the biggest apex predator because they can take down animals that are like 1,000 pounds, like huge elk and deer that are massive. And they do solo hunting trips. They don't go on like a pack hunt with a bunch of other lionesses, like the lions out in the Serengeti of Africa. Those lions, they hunt in packs and they take down huge animals too, like water buffaloes and whatever, even elephants and stuff like this, right? But the difference is there's like five, six, seven lions that are all like ganging up and, you know, um, fighting things together, right? A cougar uh, goes one on one with an elk or a deer that's like 10 times its size and takes it down. What's my opinion on crypto? Crypto is interesting. It's probably the future of the financial system. All money eventually will become some sort of crypto, especially due to the fact that pretty much in the last, like, I'd say probably about 50-ish years, the reality of what the money, the banking and money system has become largely online and um, digital anyways. So it's actually probably more of just the next logical step. So for example, in ancient times, people used to actually have physical bars of gold and silver or whatever. They actually traded precious metals, and coins then became a thing, right? And it's still to keep value, like to keep track of how much money you had to store the physical value of your golds and silvers and your coins or whatever, right? Then banks came along and they said, hey, because it's unsafe to just have your entire life savings, like, sitting in your house in a treasure chest or whatever, we'll take track of all that stuff. You give us the gold, we have, really good security, we protect it all, and we'll write it all down in our ledgers, in their books. It was books, it was still paper, it was still ledgers, and they still kept the physical stash of the golds and the silvers and the wares that actually added up to exactly how much everybody owed and didn't owe and whatever, right? Eventually, the monetary system switched to being less to do with the actual physical golds and more to do with the papers, the books themselves, and accountants that would like kind of balance them off because they might take some of that gold, loan it out to another guy that says, I promise to pay it back with interest. And that's how they make their money or whatever, right? Meanwhile, they're holding the savings of another guy. Basically, it got to the point where if every single person went to the bank and they asked to take out their life savings at the exact same time, they don't actually have the real amount of money to do that. So in today's day and age, it's even worse because then computers came along and the computers, they put all the numbers into the computers, right? And we have cards, we have these little debit cards that have a chip on them where every time you want to spend money, you can just walk up to the machine, tap your chip. There's no actual physical paper transaction anymore. It's all done through the computer. It all runs in and out, right? So crypto is just the next logical step anyways. It's the future of the way that we're going to account for money. And I think it's really hard to understand, but Bitcoin is like um, a limited supply or something like that, and it takes a bunch of computers or something like that to make it all work. I'm not too sure. I don't really know that much about it. Sorry, guys, I missed the chat because I went on a bit of a rant there. Only do crypto for just 2 to 5% of your income. Stay safe. That's actually the key. Let her live and be fine is a world of man and a woman. You have to deal with it. Respect for one another is first is key. Oh yeah, that was about me and Zara's relationship, right? That too good with good knowledge. It's off topic. It took me 5 minutes to write. Oh yeah, yeah. That's why it took you a second there. You watch a lot of National Geographic, eh? I to be honest, yeah, I do. My grandpa, when I was a kid, he used to love watching those nature documentaries, and I used to sit with him and watch these things at nighttime of like the lions and the, you know, the tigers or whatever. I'd watch these nature documentaries, the old Richard Attenborough planet shows, and they just keep making them better and better, guys. Like if you're into that type of stuff, the newer ones are always just so clear. The images that they have, like the cameras that they get, I don't know how they get such up close and personal shots of the world sometimes, but um, it's amazing. And I just I just find it really interesting. And yeah, I don't know why, but I just know a lot about, especially the animals around Canada, anyways, because I grew up here. Fun fact: salary comes from the salt that Romans and soldiers were paid for with meat. Oh yeah, like the term salary, like the word salary was like it derived from the word of salt given given to the workers or whatever, right? Paging Dr. Hockey, you are a great essay writer. Thanks. Have I farted today? Oh my god. That's crude. If Drake and Chandler from Mr. Beast had a baby. Who's Chandler from Mr. Beast? I don't know who that is. You start your you start with an introduction, then body of an essay, and then final conclusion. But my suggestion is that you should not spend more than a minute on a single comment, at least when your live chat improves. Yeah, of course, but sometimes I just get right into it. Like somebody asked me, "What's my opinion on crypto?" Like that what am I supposed to say? A one word answer? Good. Like you know what I mean? Like if somebody says, "What's my opinion on a very broad subject?" It doesn't really make sense to answer it very broadly. Like you can't. Like you have to dissect it a little bit. Hey dude, hope you're having a great day. Quick question. Do you like Panda Express or Chipotle better? Um I would say Chipotle. Yeah, you have to explain the why. Yeah, exactly. Like if somebody said that, right? If somebody said, "Hey, what's your opinion on crypto?" and I just said, I don't like it. It's bad." They'd be like, "Why do you think it's bad?" Or "What did you think?" I and To circle back around to that question, I didn't even really give a full fleshed out opinion yet. I just said I think it's the future. I didn't really say, you know, I guess that's an opinion. I just say it's the future. It's going to be our new type of, like, all currency is going to be crypto one day, guys. It's not going to be gold and silvers anymore. It's not going to be paper back bills, Like we're going to get rid of that paper money, that the cash, we're going to go to a cashless society, guys. It's going to happen. You can maybe directly go to the conclusion. Would you rather be rich but sad, or sad but rich? That's the same that's the same thing. Those are just you just reverse them. Like that was not there's nothing different about those two. Like I think the joke is you were expecting it to be rich but sad, but or happy but poor, right? And I think the truth of the matter is most people would say poor but happy, because we want to be happy, right? And what can you put a price on happiness? No, you can't, guys. The whole point of being rich is to be happy, right? Isn't it? I mean, I don't want to dumb it down and make it too simplified, right? But I think most people who are living in poverty would say that if they just had, whatever you classify as rich, they would then be happy, right? And then I think a lot of rich folks would be able to offer their own opinions where they say money doesn't buy happiness. Um, Money can only solve your, your physical problems, but your mental problems might be a greater, motivation to for your mood. So no matter how much money you have, you can't you can't just be happy, right? So I think that's what would happen. Would you rather eat $2 for $6 million or eat $6 million for $2? I guess I would eat the $2 for the six. I mean, yeah. Here in Canada, we have a little coin called the toonie, and it's a $2. It's like a $2 coin. It's a coin that's worth exactly $2. I bet you I could swallow a toonie. It wouldn't be good. Like it would definitely be hard because it's a huge coin. It's like a big coin. It's not like a size of like a quarter or a dollar or anything. It's like a big ass coin. No, gold and silver will stay. You need it for blockchain, phone, CPU, etc. I get what you're saying. Like you need it uh, as a precious metal, but it's the monetary system that is used day to day will eventually go to full crypto, I believe. Like I get what you're saying. Like I'm not saying gold and silver is just going to become valueless and like nobody's going to want it anymore. It's just going to become like useless. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that eventually it'll be cashless. Nobody will carry around coins or paper dollar bills anymore. It'll all be digital. It'll be cryptocurrency. Though there won't be an actual physical way to track it. They'll still be able to put a value on things like gold will have a value of however many crypto coins, bitcoins. No, it's more the $2. There's 31 grams, 1 troy ounce of silver, which is now $130 Canadian an ounce. Yeah, I'd rather be middle class and happy than rich than miserable, said Jake. Um, yeah, and I think most people would agree to that because when we're talking about abject poverty, I think that's pretty bad. You know what I mean? Like if you're talking about like people who are truly, truly, truly like the lowest class of wealth, I don't think anyone would choose that, But I think most people would agree that more money would increase their quality of life because it would release some of their most deepest fears and anxieties, like if you didn't have to worry about your rent or your mortgage or your food bill or your electric bill or your internet bill or any of that, any bill, anything that's a bill, if you were so rich that your bills were just always being able to taken care of, I think that would allow people to be able to focus more on their own mental problems, and then they would be able to be more happy, right? And then, you know, to counter my own point, what I just said, obviously you always read these stories or you hear, stories or you see videos or whatever of really rich folks that say, that didn't matter to them, it didn't work. Like they were rich but they were still so unhappy, because maybe they didn't feel loved or they didn't feel appreciated or they didn't feel um useful or something like that, right? So uh I think money doesn't buy happiness um the most classical sense of the saying. Like you can't just buy it. You can't just buy a happiness, But you sure as hell could improve your standard of living and make it so that the only thing that you need to focus on is what makes you happy, right? That is true. One world currency. Money is a the tool to freedom. No, you can't buy it. Yeah, exactly. You can't just buy it. You can't buy happiness. Happiness is built through, I think, emotional stability, right? Like happiness is an emotion, right? Like just like sadness is an emotion, or anger is an emotion, or you know, whatever. There's a bunch of emotions, but the basic ones, like when you're a little kid, the first 3 or 4 emotions you learn is happy, sad, angry, and those are the first 3. I'm pretty sure when you're a child, like when you're a baby, that's just learning about emotions. You learn happy, sad, angry, and then they think of a bunch of other ones that are more descriptive, like they could say, you know, enraged, or um, you know, grief or something. Like if you're grieving something that's different than just like regular sadness or whatever, uh, you know, anxious. Like there's a bunch of emotions, right? But if you want to say happiness or contentness or whatever, you know, I think a lot of happiness goes back to being loved, and um, feeling connected to your uh, peers, like your friends, your family, your community, and um, also feeling useful, like feeling like you're not wasting your time, right? Like feeling like everything you're doing is for a purpose. And I think that's one things that maybe is a little bit misunderstood by a lot of people who are rich and unhappy, is because they got so rich that they no longer feel like they provide any value, because they've gotten so much value by becoming rich, that they're like, what am I even doing anymore? Like I'm not giving back or whatever. You know what? Whatever I do doesn't matter anymore. Like they beat the game. You know what I mean? Like that's a really good way to think about it. I just thought of that right now. It's like if you were playing a video game, right? When you're playing the video game, it's fun while you're playing, right? But then once you beat the final boss, once you achieve all the achievements, the game's not really fun anymore. So I think that's what happens to some rich people. Money is only in your mind. It doesn't exist. Purpose. Hey Vamos. So can I say the same quote and be the bank and get some free money? I actually texted that and erased it. Yeah, yeah, it's purpose. Yeah, it's purpose. It's purpose. You gotta have a purpose. Yeah, exactly. You gotta have a purpose, and then you have to have love, you know. And I think that's probably the other big one that rich people who suffer from sadness struggle with, is feeling loved and reciprocating the love that they give. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter if you're the richest person in the world. If the woman you love breaks your heart and leaves you, you know you're gonna get sad, or vice versa. You know. Um, So that's a big part of it, right? Or if, say, like, maybe you felt unloved by your parents or something, you know? Like let's say you were born rich. You were born into a rich family, and you grew up with a rich family that made it so that you didn't have to really worry about any of that. It to them, I think some of those people might feel unloved, and that would lead them to not feeling the happiness that they should, you know, I say should feel, you know. Multiverse, you're not getting it. You think money is real. I know. I want to know what bank thinks. Connection, love, and purpose. Yeah, exactly. Those are the 3 things I said, right? Connected, like connected to your community, your peers, you know, your friends, your family, you know, your direct family, you know, your your nuclear family, plus your extended family, your community in general, right? That connection, that emotional connection, and then the love that you get back from them, and then a purpose. Like, what are you doing there, right? Purpose is probably, honestly, it might be the hardest one to, um, it might be the hardest one to reconcile. You know, I think it probably is, to be honest, because I think at the end of the day, like how could anyone know what their true purpose is, right? You know, because we could all be doing something. We all could be doing something else or whatever, right? You all could be doing one thing or doing another thing. You don't know, right? So how would you know what your purpose is until you started doing it and feeling it, right? So, like I said, honestly that's probably one of the bigger ones that people might suffer from. But yeah, money is not really real, guys. It is. It kind of isn't if you think about it. Like I think that's what Vamos is saying. It's not really real, but it's real enough that it's been established in enough of the world that I don't think we can go back. I don't think we can get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like it's too entrenched in every single facet of every major political and societal um, decision that if we were to try to reverse it and say that there's no such thing anymore, uh, we it would just be progress in terms of technology and innovation and business, like everything would kind of crumble. I think it would have to go back to sort of like an anarchist type of society, and I don't think that would work. I think a lot of people would not be down for that. You know your purpose, it's there, and you will know it when it's there. That's a good way to think about it. It's not real. I get what he's saying. Yeah, I get what he's saying too. Yeah. That's what I'm saying too. It's not really real. It's a made up idea. It's like an idea. I think you know what it is? It's a really good idea that got completely blown out of proportion, and its power was so powerful that it's now it's the most powerful system that was ever devised or created by our human brains. Bro, we bust our ass to make a paper to purchase things. Think about that for a second. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But in a small society, it actually makes sense. Like, let's say you lived in a tiny little village with like a few hundred to maybe up to about 1,000 people, right? And in this small society, you um like divvied up the workloads to different people. So one guy could be like the guy who grows vegetables and fruits or whatever. He's the farmer, right? One guy could be the guy who raises the cattle and or whatever, like the meat. You know, he produces meat. Another guy cuts the meat. Another guy, sews the clothes. Another guy, you know, uh, does this, does that. They all have their little jobs and if they all work together in their society, and the way that they work together is they trade and they barter things. You know, um, it sounds all fine and well until um, there's barters that want to be made. There's trades that need to be made, but somebody doesn't have the capital needed to create the proper trade at the right time. So, for example, I'll give you a great example. The farmer is hungry. He wants some meat. He has his corn that was ready to go because he just harvested the corn. He goes to the cattle guy and he says, "Hey, I'm hungry. I want some of that meat, you know?" And the cattle guy goes, "Oh, but guess what? My cow is not ready yet. He's not ready." You know what I mean? We need to keep raising him for a bit longer, right? What are they supposed to do? They're just supposed to sit on their hands? No, they create a monetary system that allows them to track who owes who. And this would all work fine and well if it was a very small society, like 100 to 1,000 people, something like that. It would be very efficient and easy to track and make sure that everybody knows who owes who and who earned what and who didn't, put in their fair share, like who's not earning the money that's been distributed amongst the society, right? But the problem is the society just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until there's millions and millions and millions and even billions and billions and billions of people in the world that are now all a part of this one giant global economy. And the people at the top, the ones who are pulling the strings of this economy, they have such immense power. It's a greater power than anything else in the entire world. The only thing that ever comes close to the amount of power that these people have are the most destructive weapons, like a nuclear bomb, for example, or something like that, that is, a giant threat, war, right? But the puppet masters that control the economy, they have the dollars, they have the books, they are controlling those books that I was talking about. If it was a small little society with like 1,000 people to do this, the trade and the barter thing that I was just talking about, you could keep track of the books, and one guy could be the accountant that writes down all the numbers and keeps track of who owes who and how the paper money works, how the monopoly money works. But if imagine if that guy got corrupted and he started um, you know, writing things down so that he gets a little extra, and now suddenly he's getting all the wealth. You know what I mean? It can mess everything up. Yeah, that's a cool way to live, bartering. No, the cows are ready always. Health is wealth. Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, like if you're really healthy and happy, then you are wealthy. 9 billion minds and ideas, the biggest losts of mankind's. Yeah, so at the end of the day, guys, that's kind of what I think about the economy. I think it was a great idea when it started, and it made sense. It makes sense to have money. Gold was assigned because it was uh, it was valuable in the sense that you can use it for lots of different things. Hockey ice or field? I say hockey ice, but thanks for asking, Shivam. But yeah, like I said, it was a great idea when it started. You know what I mean? It was a great idea to be able to like innovate, because what that would allow to do to have a monetary system is, back in those old days, it still is, yes, but it's lopsided now, it's corrupted. Like, we must admit, guys, that the gap between like the haves and the have nots, it's bigger than ever, right? But it's not that it's a bad idea, it just got corrupted because it's too powerful. So what happened was, it allowed for innovation, right? So in the example that I said, like let's say it was back in like the old times, like the caveman days or whatever, and everybody bartered, right? One guy catches fish, he trades his fish for some corn. The other guy that raised the corn trades his corn for the meat. One guy, is a professional at cutting fish or whatever. Like they all had their little jobs or whatever, right? But the point of what I was trying to say is, if they had money, if they had like coins and paper dollar bills or whatever that they can use to trade for their um in place of the items, uh that allowed for somebody to really like innovate and specialize in something so that they can create better technology, and they're not just worried about like, oh, I better catch my fish, because if I don't catch my fish, I'm not gonna eat tonight. You know what I mean? They could be like, you know what, I think I'm gonna work on, building a better fishing rod. You know what I mean? Engineering. But the problem is the money, the idea of the money itself became so powerful. And whoever holds the money, whoever had the money had the power, right? It was more powerful than, the best weapon. So Bitcoin, I guess, yeah, I guess Bitcoin. That's the only thing I can say. Like we need I don't know. It's really I don't know. I'm confusing myself now, guys. Like I can't even think of I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. I'm like Joe Biden right now, you know what I mean? I can't even count the number of years in my head. You know what I mean, guys? I'm literally like Joe Biden. Can't even count the number of years in my head. That's how focused I am. So yeah, in the conclusion, guys, Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Actually, I read or I didn't read. I heard a podcast that was about all this type of thing that I was just talking about. Um, and in conclusion, they were talking about Bitcoin too. But it's a really interesting podcast. I think it's called I forget what it's called, but it's the guy's name that was talking. His name is, I think, Michael Saylor, Sailer. Like, work on a house, build on geothermal and solar with a digged thank for nature biogas from the bio waste of the house and create block of house interconnected. Number of years for what? Oh, the number of years thing, that was a Joe Biden quote. You have to look it up because you if you don't know what the quote is, then you don't understand it. But it's like there's like a video clip of Joe Biden where um the guy who's interviewing him says, "So, Joe Biden, how's your focus?" And then he goes on this really long um, rant that doesn't make any sense, where he says, "Oh, it's focused. I don't even remember the number of years in my head." And the question that the guy asked, he didn't ask him about any of the numbers of years. It was like a nonsensical rant that was so funny because the guy literally asked him how his focus is, because people were like questioning his cognitive decline or whatever, because he kind of seemed like he was becoming like a um mentally handicapped or whatever, mentally his cognitive decline was, or his cognitive like abilities were declining or whatever. So yeah, I know what geothermal is. It's like you dig a giant hole, like a big well down into the ground, and there's hot earth down there, right? And you run water down. It's like a pipe. It's like a big U pipe, right? And you run water down one side. It goes through the hot earth, and then it comes back up the other side, and it's like hot water. Yeah, you got to look up the clip, guys. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. It's actually so funny. It's just Joe Biden. Uh, it's focused. The number of years, And one thing about Joe Biden that was so funny is there were so many moments like that when he was speaking, that he just starts stumbling over his words and forgetting what he's saying, and then rambling on. It just it was so funny. I miss those days, guys. Just for the funny clips, you know what I mean? But yeah, geothermal energy is really cool. There's actually quite a few. There's quite a few houses out in the island here that do that. They have heat pumps. Yeah, do it in a bit. I think I might end the stream here, anyways, guys. My phone is at 5%, and he obviously had dementia. Yeah, I'm gonna bet that as well, guys. Like I'm gonna bet that in his last, like, I want to say 2 to 3 years, even, he was hanging on by a thread. He didn't even know certain states. Yeah, exactly. And like certain questions would just throw him off, like so far off, to the point of where it's like, I can't believe this guy is a politician, let alone the president. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing if like your random, buddy that doesn't know, whatever, construction worker or something. Like, it's one thing if you, whatever, I'm anybody. If your random friend or uncle or bro doesn't know basic, political stuff, um, who cares, right? But when they asked basic political stuff to Joe Biden, sometimes it seemed like he didn't even know what he was talking about. And the same thing happened to Trump now too. I think Trump also has dementia right now. He's also too old to be in the presidency. That's just my opinion, you know what I mean? But anyways, um yeah, good times back then, you know what I mean? It was kind of funny. Um yeah, I'm gonna end my live, guys. My phone is about to die. It's at 5%. It's almost 11 p.m. where I'm at, and I gotta get to bed. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I really enjoyed the stream today. I hope you guys did too. Yes, you can also do it horizontal. It's the heat that Earth traps from the sun during the summer, using that for heating during the winter. During the summer, it's cold due to the last winter, etc., etc. Yeah, it's a really cool idea. I mean, it could solve a lot of the energy problems, of the world if there was more geothermal heating, you know. I think there's really big solutions that can happen for the energy crisis or whatever you want to call it. Um, I don't know what they are. I just know a little bit about some of the technology that is being used currently and has been used in the past for harvesting energy, and I think that geothermal is one of the best. I think dams and the water ones are kind of some of the worst because the way that they change the environment is pretty extreme. And what I mean by that, guys, is like, for example, the Hoover Dam, like they dammed up, like, or other dams. There's lots of dams in the world where they dam up a big river um, to then use the water pressure that pushes through the dam to turn turbines and make energy that way. I think that's kind of a bad way to do it, just because when you put that big dam there, all the water from the river has to fill a huge big reservoir, right? And it may just be like empty land or whatever, but like that's still a pretty big section of land that you know uh is directly getting like super impacted by the dam, right? Because the water's all going to go over there. It might cover a bunch of trees and a bunch of like squirrels and other types of small little animals, uh dwellings or whatever. And then the other reason I think it's bad is because if the dam fails, if it ever breaks for some reason due to a natural disaster or a catastrophe of some kind, the water would all splash out and it could be very devastating. Like the failure would be a catastrophe. You know what I mean? Whereas like there's other types of energy harvesting methods that even if the technology messed up and it broke, it wouldn't cause a huge massive disaster. What university did I go to? I didn't go to university. I went to a polytechnical school called SAIT. And those two together, so many other ways. You have 100% greenhouse if you connect those houses together to get eco blocks. Yeah, that's a great idea. But yeah, with that, guys, I gotta end this live. My phone is now at 4%. My um, time is now 10:59 where I'm at. So I wanted to be on live for at least an hour, and I've been on for 94 minutes now, guys. A polytechnical school? Yeah, polytechnical means poly means many, technical means technical. Uh, it's just a fancy way of saying it's like a trade school. Like they teach like engineering and plumbing and construction and you know trades of all kinds at the school that I went to, as well as business and finance and like they teach everything there, but it's not really a university. Like it's like a college basically. Go Habs, go. Have a nice one. Okay, guys, thanks for that. Guess what? Um, like I said, yeah. If you guys want to see more lives, I'm gonna post them every day. I'm gonna go live every day. I posted a new live today of um a past adventure that I had in Peru with Zara. I think we were at a cafe or something like that. I posted that out today, so you guys can go watch that one. That was from about 4 weeks ago, and I'm gonna keep posting my old lives. So if you're wondering why all my lives look like I'm in Peru and I'm not actually in Peru, it's because they're from a few weeks ago when I was in Peru. But eventually I'll get back to like the current day. I'm just kind of delaying them. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna end the live now, and I appreciate y'all. Have a good night.